How's everybody today? It's Monday, April 20th, and I'm stepping up my bell peppers today, and I wanted to share a video with you, what I've learned with stepping up videos that I've watched on YouTube, so that you can learn like I did. I'm very simple. I do not claim that these ideas were mine. I'm just going to use them this year. I did use some of these techniques last year, but I wanted to share them with you because I'm in the middle of doing that right now. So this is Molly. She's my gardener friend. I'm going to put her down. Lay down. This is my she shed, if you will. I line the floor with plastic so I don't destroy my carpet. Okay, so we are stepping up. I did 72 cell trays this year with peppers, and these seeds actually came from a Home Depot plant that I purchased at Home Depot for red, yellow, orange, and green peppers last year. And then when I ate the fruit off that bush or plant last year, I took the seeds out and I dried them and I saved them, and this is the result of that. So I actually had planted like 3 seeds in each one of these 72 cells on one tray, and they all germinated. So I had a buttload of pepper plants, and we do have tons of garden space this year, and we're growing vegetables and fruit for the food pantries here in Aurora. So I'm not destroying them. I'm gonna step them all up into cups like this, so that what we use in the garden we use, and then what's left I can sell and maybe recoup some money from potting soil, because that's pretty much really all I've purchased this year. So yeah, I just did a bunch of red peppers, and now I'm going to do some orange peppers. But I wanted to share with you some ideas on trays and double cupping for drainage. Throughout the year, I will look at Goodwill or thrift stores or anything like that for trays like this, like these big tin trays. I will look for any type of bucket or tub or anything like that that's watertight, so that I can use them throughout the year. You can see those tubs on the ground right there, those clear tubs. Those I got at Goodwill for like $1.99 or $2.99. Excuse me. Because I can lift that whole tray with a ton of these cups in it with plants and take them out to harden them off and bring them back, or put them in the greenhouse and bring them out of the greenhouse. So I can go back and forth with those. Another way to do it, if you're just doing windowsill, putting cups in a windowsill, a sunny windowsill, and you're just doing a couple plants for a very small garden, or just a couple pots that you're doing on the patio, you can do this technique that I learned on YouTube with 2 cups. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some holes in these cups for some drainage. And I saw this on Roots and Refuge Farm, where Maya took a drill and he drilled a hole right in the bottom of these cups. So I'm going to do that now. One thing I learned about doing that is don't push really hard, because you actually can crush the cups and it makes a bit of a mess. If you could see that. And the plastic is all bent up so it doesn't sit level on the bottom of a tray. So this time I didn't push very hard, I just pushed lightly. So now I have a hole in the bottom of my cup. I'm going to put 2. Because it's not a very big drill. I can't find my drill bit for the last ones I did. So, didn't go through all of them. There we go. Went through all of them but the last one. See? So now all of these have holes in them. This one does not. So if you're just doing windowsill planting and stepping up to grow in the windowsill until they're big enough to put in the ground, or until your last frost date, I found these rocks at Goodwill for like $1 a bag. These are like those really pretty rocks that you put in vases and stuff. But it's $1 for that. So I take the cup without the hole. I put the rock in there. And then the plant that has the hole in it, you put it in there and it won't go down all the way. Maybe a couple. There's 3 rocks in there now. And that way it will hold and be bottom heavy and hold the water in there as a reservoir, because when the water is at the bottom and it goes up through the hole instead of top watering, then your roots will stretch to the bottom of the cup and promote strength in the roots to grab the water. That's something I learned on YouTube also. I do not claim to be an expert. I have stolen all my ideas from everybody on YouTube and I use them and they work. So I just wanted to share with you as I pay it forward the goodness that I've learned on YouTube. I want to share it with you. So that's how I do like a windowsill type of treatment so that water can go in the bottom of the cup and then it will water it. It's like self-watering. But since I'm putting them in trays, I don't need the double cup theory, so I didn't actually need these rocks, but I got them anyway. So I put my holes in here. Another thing that I did this year was people ask what they use for plant markers, like how to mark their plants. Well, this right here is what I'm doing now. This is our oranges. 3/11 is when I seed started them. They're orange peppers, and then today is 4/20, and today is the day I'm stepping them up. So that's why I put both dates on there. So from 3/11 to, I use seed from 3/11 to 4/20. This is what I've gotten. And these are about 5 inches tall, and they look pretty good. And these, actually, remember there was like 3 plants in each one of these, and I pulled 2 plants out. And so these still survived even after I pulled out these roots to transplant those other plants into other cups, which I've already stepped up into cups like this. So I use blinds. At the bottom of your blinds, usually if you have vertical blinds, at the bottom there's a chunk at the bottom by the bottom of the window. And I looked at a YouTube video on how to get those off, and I learned, and I took them all off. And I have tons of them. I mean, this is just a tiny bitty stack from what I've used, or from what I've gotten off of my blinds, but I use those. And when I put them in the ground outside, what I'll do is I'll write on them and I'll put a piece of Scotch tape on them to kind of protect the Sharpie marker on there from fading or water damage, so that I don't forget like what's in the ground outside. So what I do is I take several of them at a time like this, and then I cut them at an angle like that so that they stab into the cups easier. With it being a flat like that to shove in the cup, I tended to find out that it's kind of hard to do that. So I just take my blinds, I do an angle cut like this, and that way I have multiple with the angles to stab into my cups. And then I can write on all these blinds. So I have written on several of my blinds like that, like I've showed you before, and I'm going to start stepping these up. So how I do that is I take my cup that I drilled my hole in, I put it in I have a tub like this, and this is all my potting mix. This potting mix, God bless my neighbor, he saw that I was out in the garden and he gave me 3 huge bags of potting mix. This potting mix I've never seen before. If I see it in a store, I probably will not buy it because it's very chunky. It's got a lot of organic matter in it. It's got a lot of sticks. I've had to take a bunch of these out. So it is a little bit chunkier than I would like. I'll probably use something like this if I see it on sale in my pots for flowers and whatnot. But to step up stuff like this is kind of annoying. So I fill my cup only about this far. As you can see, it's pretty far down in there because my cell trays, where all of the plants are, these, they have a pretty deep root system, And also there was one on here I wanted to show you. Where is it? There it is. It has almost like what tomatoes do, how they have those little baby roots at the bottom of the stem, the main stem, and they grab hold of the dirt. Peppers kind of do that too. I'm not saying you can go out and plant a pepper plant super deep, but this one is a perfect example, and I really hope that this focuses. So I pulled that plant out of the cell tray. If you can see all the roots. Not focusing very well. I'm using my phone. I'm not a professional. I just use my phone. But if you could see at the base, oh, please focus. There. Look at that. See those little baby roots down there? Dirt everywhere. This is why I line my floor with plastic. See them? That's so awesome. So those will take hold of whatever dirt we're going to stick in there. So now I'm just going to take this entire, whoa! All out of focus. There we go. I'm a rookie. So I'm going to take this entire root ball. If I let go of the dirt, obviously it's going to fall out, but you can see all that goodness, all those roots. That's good stuff. And I'm going to put right into the bottom of that cup. And then I'm just going to take dirt and fill it in around the stem. And then I'm going to kind of pack it down in there a little bit. Put a little bit more. So now my cup is halfway full instead of down here. But now the little plant is in there, and that's an orange pepper. So now I'll write orange pepper on my solo cup, as well as I'll have a stick in there for security reasons. Every single pepper plant looks the same. But that is what it will look like if I'm going to sell them. They're obviously going to be like up here by the time I do sell my leftovers. But I'm going to go through all of these cups. There's 36 orange peppers. I'm going to plant them all up, step them all up. I've already done my red peppers, and those are the red peppers that I did today. See, I wrote on the solo cup, as well as I put some markers in there. But I use a tin tray that I found at the thrift store, and I purchased these solo cups at Goodwill. I think they were in the Christmas section because they're gold, and I think they were a Christmas item, so I got them for cheap. So I am a repurposing son of a gun. I like to find anything that I can possibly use that I don't have to spend a lot of money on, because it's not, if I spend $100,000 on equipment and supplies to make these plants into producing fruit, it doesn't matter to me. So this is why I do what I do. I like to garage sale. I like to Facebook. I like to ask for free things on Facebook. Sometimes I will find some people that are getting rid of some stuff. But I wanted to share with you again how to step up peppers. So again, you take a cup with the hole in it, do about a quarter of the way up, like that, just about there. And then you scoop out a plant. I have this little tool. I didn't know what this was, and I don't know if this is really what its purpose is, but it was in one of my cell trays. It's got a fork at one end and kind of like a paddle at the other, and I'm using that to scoop out the cells, and it's working out pretty good. I'm tending to find that that's a good one. Look at that one. The roots are awesome on that. They're going around and around and around. So I'm tending to find that the dirt in the cell trays should probably be a little bit more wet. And that's how it would kind of just slip out of the cell tray instead of it crumbling kind of when I'm pulling it out, because I am having a lot of debris all over the place when I do it. But here's my second orange. And then now that I stepped them up, the last thing I'm going to do is feed them, because once they're in growing potting mix, like a potting mix usually has organic matter in it or nutrients and vitamins and stuff for the plants. Once they're in here, I'm going to start feeding them, and I use Miracle-Gro water soluble. It's a half teaspoon to a gallon. You want to dilute that even, because this is, you don't want to use full strength water soluble or time releasing fertilizer in your stepped up pots and cups like this, because full strength is pretty strong. So I cut that in half. You have to think about it when you're fertilizing in this little cup here. You're just fertilizing what's in the cup. If this was in the ground and you used it full strength, it's going to feed all of the ground around it, which will time release, in a sense, the soil that's in here. So I'm going to just mix the mixture like it says on the package, a half teaspoon to a gallon, and then I'm going to turn that gallon into 2 gallons. So it'll be a half teaspoon per 2 gallons, and then I'll wet these down. And peppers I'm tending to find, and I've heard, let them kind of dry out and then soak them again. And then let them drink all that up, and then let them dry out, and then let them then soak them again. So that's what I'm doing with that. And then also my potting mix, the mix that I'm using in this bucket, I did put some water in there so it's not light and fluffy. It's a little bit more like a like if you crumbled up Oreos with the fluffy white stuff in the middle of an Oreo, and you squeeze it in your hand like this and you make a ball, it'll stay. I'm not squeezing any water out, but you can feel the moisture in the ball. But that's about the consistency that I want it in there. So it has a little bit of moisture in there before I feed them, because it's going to be probably not until tomorrow before I feed them. And then it's now closer to my last freezing date outside, and so I'm going to start putting these in the greenhouse outside, and then just keep my eye on the weather. If it gets anywhere close to freezing, I might bring stuff in, because I can't heat my greenhouses, but I do know that 32 might be a little chilly for these, and I don't want to have the chance of losing them. A lot of time and energy has gone into these. So again, I'm not an expert. I like to take ideas off of YouTube and utilize them in my garden, and I hope that if I'm sharing with you, you can use them in your garden. And I appreciate you hanging out with me today and watching my video, and I guess you can like it or share it if you want, and my information is below if you need to contact me. I hope you have an incredible day, and God bless you. Bye!